Are you interested in composting your kitchen food scraps at home? Do you care about the environment and sustainability? Keeping food waste out of the landfill is one of the most impactful sustainability efforts a household can adopt, but a lot of the time, it isn't possible to have a backyard compost set up. Compost Crowd is the food scraps collection service for Flagstaff, and when you join the crowd, we make it easy for you to start composting. Just like a trash or recycle collection service, you fill up your receptacle throughout the week and then set it out on your collection day. Then we come and swap out your full bucket for an empty, clean one. Once a year, you can even opt to receive 5 gallons of completed compost for your own personal use. We offer bi-weekly and weekly subscription options, and our service area includes Flagstaff, Kachina Village, Fort Valley, and Forest Highlands. When you use the code BeyondFlag at sign-up, we're giving you your first month of service for free. To join the crowd, go to compostcrowd.com/Flagstaff and use the code BeyondFlag. That's BEYONDFLG.
Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm a senior here at Basis in Flagstaff. For my senior project, I've chosen to create a sculpture that relates to various types of phobias people experience. Some of the phobias that will be included are arachnophobia, trypophobia, entomophobia, and many more. I look forward to completing this by May 5th at the absolute latest. As part of my project, I need to create a blog, and I'd love it if you'd be willing to follow along with me, as any feedback and interaction helps me with my project. You can find my blog at basisseniorprojects.com/Flagstaff. Thanks so much for following along, and I look forward to connecting.
Dr. Seavey.
Donnie, what's happening?
Just chilling.
I believe that.
Yeah, all the time, every time.
Most of the time, 4 times.
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times. I've seen it happen 4 times.
Well, you know what the old saying is?
What's that?
If it's happened 4 times, it happened every time.
Every time, yeah. It's interesting that it makes its way all the way to every time at the number of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 5, infinity, same.
Same. Yeah. Numerically, those look the same.
Yeah. Well, welcome to you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's jump in with episode 2 of the Cognitive Bias series.
Yeah, I didn't want to spend a lot of time in check-in, so I think it's good that we just hop in.
We're on that Cognitive Bias series. What's a cognitive bias?
Oh, man, it's a mental shortcut. It's a way that we make sense of the world.
Yeah.
We can reach conclusions. It influences our perceptions, judgments, predictions.
Yeah.
But it's really just a mental shortcut.
What was episode 1?
Hey, I remember.
Yeah.
It was on fundamental attribution error.
There you go. What is that?
Something that I don't do, but apparently other people will make judgments of others' behaviors and attribute that to their character or like their personality traits opposed to maybe situational factors.
Ah, there you go. Blammo.
But if I make that same mistake, I'll attribute it to the situational factors.
Yeah. Yeah, so no error.
No error.
No
it's
bias.
everything going on around me. It couldn't be me,
Yeah. I feel like we reversed roles right here.
Yeah, that was my goal.
Okay. Yeah.
So the only reason I'm ever late is because all the stuff around me, not because I'm actually just, intrinsically bad at managing time.
Yeah. Or that if the person across from you is judging you for being late, that has to do with situational factors, not their character.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your own situational factors. Yeah, well, the funny thing is if that person holds a strength and judgment, I'm probably going to say that it's that person's strength and judgment.
Then you're back in the bias.
I'm back in the bias. Gosh dang it.
FA. So today we got confirmation and desirability biases.
Oh, for sure. So I always thought it would be fun to create a little interactive icebreaker, huh?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Well, those words are really natural for me to use. Interactive icebreaker. Those are pretty commonly just flowing off the tongue throughout the day.
Kind of what you do at the start of every meeting.
Yeah, for sure. An interactive icebreaker. And the thing I've learned with those I2s, is people love them. Mm-hmm. It just really seems to create a whole ton of connection in our world, huh?
Closer.
I see you agreeing with me.
Yeah. What's the icebreaker for today?
Let me ask you a question, Dunny.
Yo.
Do you trust your gut decisions more often, or do you tend to second guess yourself?
For sure. Trust my gut every time, all the time.
What if we post that on the socials, huh?
Yeah, let's do that on the socials.
Yeah.
Do people trust their gut or doubt? Which one happens more?
Yeah. Which would you say for yourself, though?
In all honesty?
In all honesty.
It's tough because I think different contexts of my life.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the serial question.
Here's the layers.
Every variable that can ever be considered at every point and minute of every day, always forever.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables that inform the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Do you want to define some of those variables, or do you want me to just haphazardly answer the question?
Yeah, just and remember that your answer is going to be in concrete forever.
Oof, this really is tough. I would say a lot of the time, I trust my intuition relative to like my sense of self, and a lot of times I have self-doubt in decisions related to like professional matters.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. So, well, I think I know we're joking about context, but I do think that's a really important sort of thing. I think when it comes to professional matters, studies, particularly anything that was related to school, I would always doubt myself. Rarely would I trust my intuition that sort of way. But I think navigating like interpersonal stuff, just kind of going through the world, I feel pretty good about trusting my intuition in that way. Maybe a little more than, something like school.
Well, that's probably good since you're a therapist.
Yeah, I wonder all the ways that actually doesn't work that way though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Where am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, today we could talk about two avenues that could lead you to being wrong: confirmation bias and desirability bias.
Ooh, okay.
And we have an example. Like if we throw out the example, I actually think we can demonstrate both desirability bias and confirmation bias using one example.
Oh, dang.
2 words.
Yeah.
Funky monkeys.
Funky monkeys. I thought you were going to go funky spunkies.
Yeah.
You're talking about the softball team.
The softball team, the Funky Monkeys, capital THE.
Just want to make sure I know. So the F League, Flagstaff, Arizona co-ed softball team.
Yes.
Funky Monkeys.
Yes, sir.
Comprised of employees and owners of the Veil Tattoo Studio, Beyond the Pines, New Roots Fitness Company.
Yeah.
And partners and friends.
Yeah. And I think the desirability bias, or sometimes referred to as the optimism bias, shows up here. And I think that happens because I've heard you hold the perception at times that the potential for success with the Funky Monkeys is high.
Okay.
And I think you desire for the potential to be high. And so you describe it in ways for it to be high.
A lot of optimism.
Yeah, a lot of optimism.
Yeah.
And that informs the way you interpret information. So if you get a win, that's you moving in the direction you know you're capable of moving in, rather than being an aberration.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if we get that win, I'm thinking, we're going in the right direction here. Yeah. So even when we get 10-run ruled in the 3rd inning, I think, hey, we got 3 runs. That's 2 more than last game. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Has that literally happened?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've definitely been 10-run ruled in the 3rd inning.
Well, and have you literally thought, we got 3 runs?
I will only see it that way. I will only see the progress.
Yeah, desirability bias.
It's hard to come to reality.
And it can also show us confirmation bias.
Okay.
Because I think your actual record, so I think your record is evidence of the idea that you aren't very good. So there's a 3-win total over 3 seasons.
Yeah, 0 wins, 1 win, 2 wins.
Yeah.
So see how we're going in the right direction? Trust the process. Yeah.
There's not a mean in there, and the mean is 1 to me. To you,
0,
it's a
1,
step ladder. You see a step ladder.
Yeah.
I see an average.
So you see an average of 1 win per season.
Yeah.
We see progress, 0, 1, and 2.
Yeah. And so my preconceived idea that you all aren't you're phenomenal people, not great at softball.
Yep.
And your record bears that out. That's my own confirmation bias.
I got you. So when I say, hey, tonight we have a Funky Monkeys game, you're expecting
a loss.
A loss. And I'm saying hey.
I think what's at stake that evening is whether you get mercy ruled or not.
I love sending you text message pictures of the scoreboard.
I love it too.
Favorite things.
I love it too.
Yeah, so I say we have a Funky Monkeys game. You expect for me to come back with a loss. I say it's Funky Monkeys game, and I'm just going to say, hey, we're better than we were the first year.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it that way.
Well, tell us a little bit about confirmation bias. What's the background and history of it?
Yeah, this goes back as early as 400 BC. with the guy, Thucydides. MC Thucydides, is that right?
Oh, yeah. I know him.
He's a historian. He's a general. He said of the Peloponnesian War, for it is a habit of mankind to entrust to careless hope what they long for, and to use sovereign reason to thrust aside what they do not fancy. So that would speak a little bit to a cognitive bias, huh?
Yeah. That's way back, 400 BC.
400 BC, yeah.
Where did it evolve from there?
Well, even in the 1300s, we have an Arab philosopher, Khaldun, who said if the soul is infected with partisanship for a particular opinion or sect, it accepts without a moment's hesitation the information that is agreeable to it. Prejudice and partisanship obscure the critical faculty and preclude critical investigation. And I love this, man. The result is that falsehoods are accepted and transmitted. Mm-hmm. Feels kind of relevant, huh?
Yeah. Confirmation bias happens all over the place, huh?
But it really wasn't, from our field till the 1960s that it became tested and shown to be more of a thing, given a name even. And so this goes back to Peter Wason, who conducted experiments on reasoning and evidence testing. He was a professor of cognitive psychology at University College of London. He developed several studies to understand why people naturally seek to confirm their hypotheses, opposed to taking in full breadth of information to land at an objective conclusion. Mm-hmm. So again, just thinking a cognitive bias is really a mental shortcut. Mm-hmm. And his stuff was set up to kind of show the ways in which we do that.
So that people develop an idea about something and then they just look at evidence that will confirm that they're right about that thing.
Right. He was the first person to coin the term confirmation bias. And just like you're saying, it describes the tendency for people to immediately favor information that validates their preconceptions, hypotheses, or beliefs, regardless of whether they're true or not. Mm-hmm. We'll go into a little bit of his studies in a minute.
Yeah. And so desirability bias, the other one that's similar, the research for this actually came mostly from economics. And we're just going to go into a contemporary history here, but there's this idea that people are motivated to draw logical conclusions that are based on what they're motivated to be or what they desire. And so Ziva Kunda was a social psychologist at Waterloo University. Go.
Ooh, Warriors?
Yeah, man, check you out. I didn't know you knew the schools in Canada.
No doubt, man. Cindy Lou Who, Waterloo Who.
Yeah.
I love seeing those Waterloo Warriors stick it to the other teams on the ice. You know what I mean?
With a couple of Molsons.
Yeah, a couple of Molsons. And, get the Zamboni at the break. And I like seeing them win those games after 3 periods.
So Ziva from Waterloo, go Warriors.
Go Warriors.
Yeah, outline the differences in motivated reasoning based on efforts for accuracy versus being goal-oriented. So she viewed people as like there are people that intrinsically think critically or will have external follow-up and motivated to collect and process information for decisions that are accurate. And there's a group of people that will fall into this category. Another group of people will be goal-oriented. They'll want a certain outcome of something, and they'll remember past information and select conclusions for current information that are concurrent with that desired goal.
Gotcha.
So this obviously relates to the field of economics. If people want desired outcomes.
Right.
They'll want certain financial situations to play out in certain ways that are beneficial to them, and they'll pull in the information and ignore other information that's different than what they desire if they're in that goal-oriented state.
Gotcha. So the funky monkeys might look at the one win and say, hey, I want to see more wins. I'm going to look at that one. Kind of let go of the other 9 losses.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go over the interactive poll. We did an interactive icebreaker. Let's ask.
We had an I2. Now we have an IP.
Yeah, an interactive poll. So, Cody, which do you think is more common? Believing something because it fits your existing beliefs or because you want it to be true?
My nonpartisan answer would say it's split even, 50-50. My gut tells me confirmation bias, that it would fit your current beliefs, but I doubt that.
That's for you. You think 50-50, but you think maybe confirmation bias happens a little more? But 100% of the time, you're either in confirmation or desirability bias?
Feels right. I was trying to say 50-50 to really avoid taking a stand on one side.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid of being wrong. But I'm gonna guess confirmation.
Correct.
Nah.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, come on.
No, we actually don't know. How would we know?
I thought some nerd was doing data out there. No?
How would we know what percentage of time people are using confirmation versus desirability? How would you design that?
I would leave that up to the nerds.
So your process of research methodology. I want to see your dissertation. I want to see what's in the methods section. And if it says left this part to the nerds.
Recruited nerds to help with the design. Absolutely, man.
Recruited nerds. Yeah, so we don't know for sure. But I would wonder if people fall more into confirmation bias. I actually think the way that searching information online, even with the growth of AI, I think it lends itself to confirmation bias being a big time thing.
Yeah. My assumption with confirmation bias is just the power that your own personal beliefs have and how much they can affect how you choose things or predict things to happen.
Yeah, what you see in something.
Totally. And not even that you can be fully aware of what those beliefs are.
Yeah. So again, like that's a good point, that when we're talking about these biases, they're not conscious decision points. The reason they're mental shortcuts is because they're happening subconsciously. Your brain is hijacking that to utilize less energy that a thought process in decision making requires.
Right.
So, yeah, tell us a bit about the prominent studies for confirmation bias.
So yeah, one of the very first experiments that was done was by Peter Wason. It's called the 246 experiment. Maybe we could try this.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So I'm going to give you 3 numbers. Mm-hmm. I just want you to tell me what the rule is here.
That's guiding the pattern of those numbers?
That's guiding the pattern of those numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The numbers are 2, 4, and 6.
Okay.
And you can ask me questions to confirm your idea or not.
So you want me to guess what number would come next, and I can ask any question I want to determine my idea about what the correct next number is?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the next number, can it be an even?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it number 8?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be number 10, be the one that follows that?
Yep.
Okay, so my idea about the rule that's guiding this pattern is that it's even numbers that increase by 2.
Incorrect.
It's incorrect?
Yeah.
I've never had this happen before.
I know, it's the first time. And it's publicly available for 8 people.
On public display.
Yeah.
For 8.
I'm sorry that you were wrong, Daniel.
Okay, so do you want me to guess more? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Could it be, is the next number 10?
Yeah, could be.
So then is it that it's the Fibonacci sequence where it's the number plus the previous number to equal the next number?
I see.
Like 6 plus 4 is 10?
It could be, but no.
It's not?
No.
What's the rule then?
What's tricky here is that both of your guesses are right? Mm-hmm. And so one thing that Peter Wason found was that people tend to be much more specific with their ideas, and that it would be in a pattern of, like you're saying, even numbers or by 2s or Fibonacci sequence. Really, the rule is just that it increases from the first number.
Yeah. So essentially, you're suggesting that my follow-up questions to you were based on hypotheses that were partially accurate and not fully accurate. And when you give answers, it confirms what my hypothesis is, even though it's not fully accurate, comprehensively accurate.
Right. So when you're saying, like you imagine 2, 4, 6, it would be really easy to think that it increases by 2. So it'd be 8, 10, 12. Mm-hmm. Right. And then so you begin asking questions that confirm that. Mm. And it's just a lot more specific than the actual rule. Same thing with Fibonacci sequence, so you had a very specific idea of what the next number would be and then asking to confirm that, when really the rule is just, that it increases from the previous number.
It's just any number going up. And so that's interesting because what he demonstrated is that the questions I ask actually seek information to confirm my initial idea. And what that does is it narrows the walls or narrows the windows of the information I'm allowing in.
Exactly. So you didn't ask questions to disprove your theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're asking questions to prove it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo.
Any others?
We got Lord, we got Ross, we got Leper. So what they did was they recruited two groups who held opposing views on capital punishment. And each group was shown one of two cards, and one card that showed research that would suggest the deterrent effect of capital punishment, showing that it was useful. And then the other card would show that the deterrent effect was actually not useful. And one thing that they found was that groups tend to criticize research that oppose their pre-existing views and believe research confirming their views was more credible and convincing. So the group that might have held the view that the deterrent effects of capital punishment was useful would say that the studies that would show that was not useful were actually not that good at research. They would try to downplay and, kind of attack its credibility and that sort of thing.
Like find holes in it.
Yeah. So it would minimize it because it would oppose their views. Yeah. What they would say.
So essentially people look to just confirm what it is they already have an inkling for, or what they have an idea for.
Right. And so in criticizing the other research and that sort of thing, the researchers also found that it seemed irrational to then strengthen your own view and your own opinion based on the research that was done simply by criticizing the other research.
So it becomes important to put the other thing down.
Yeah. So my own belief in the deterrent effects of capital punishment being useful would strengthen just by me criticizing the research that was done on the unuseful effects of capital punishment.
Yeah. So the desirability studies, they've done research to explore how people view different things, and it can be similar to confirmation bias. What you're talking about is people zero in on information that confirms these things, and desirability is like it kind of guides people along the path seeking certain information. So confirmation is like, we'll kind of narrow the lens and pull in the information, or maybe like you're saying here, put down information that's contrary. Desirability is like motivated reasoning to follow the positive preference formation. A study that had participants participate in an activity is Druckmann, James, McGrath, and Mary in February of 2019, so fairly recent, and found that people that had ideas about climate change preference would actually see evidence or interpret evidence for the thing that they desired for it to be. And they also found that there's a correlation between political affiliation. So in their study, they'd have people talk about their political affiliation and then throw out an idea that happened to be a controversial topic in 2019, climate change. And people, dependent on their political affiliation, would influence what information was accepted or refuted around the evidence of climate change and the role of human behavior in climate change. So they would kind of pick and choose information. Let's say you hear about a study that supports your opinion on Lake Mary being a beautiful lake.
Glorious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Several studies demonstrating this finding. Yeah.
What's your first thought? So there's two options here. What's your first thought? Option one, this proves I was right. Option two, I'll look for more details first.
Yeah. The words that go in my head that would actually support option one are how many times?
How many times?
How many times we got to show this? 4 times. Yeah. 4 times we got to show Lake Mary as this glorious, beautiful lake.
Yeah.
I'm so right.
Yeah. So that's an example of confirmation bias.
Oh, dang.
Congratulations.
Once again, here I am. I won the confirmation bias game.
You won.
Yeah.
So let's think about contemporary examples.
Yeah.
So, I'll throw out some contemporary examples for confirmation bias to swap it up. So one of the big ones is it's social media. It's how social media becomes an echo chamber, and in fact, actually beyond just what's going on in your brain functioning, performing a cognitive bias for that shortcut. Social media being an echo chamber creates an algorithm that kind of externalizes that whole confirmation bias process, where the information you receive will just be information that confirms the direction you are already leaning towards something.
Yeah. Echo chamber.
Yeah. So if I really like Ibis mountain bikes and I dislike Pivot mountain bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My search history, the algorithm that it produces based on my search history is actually going to show me more Ibis information and positive Ibis information and not Pivot information.
Gotcha. And then if you see more Ibis information and then someone shows up and says something negative about Ibis, what would be your natural response to that?
Well, so then I go into the desirability and I deny it. I refute it because it doesn't confirm the thing that I know. If I see positive information, I think, that's just more evidence for how good IBIS is.
Totally. So this is really important in my mind because in that Lord study we talked about earlier with capital punishment, was one thing they found with that was the polarization of groups also. And so they found that a person's attitude might be, let's say, a 5 out of 10 on capital punishment, but when they were part of a group that believed in capital punishment, that number would then go higher. So they would be more extreme in their views. So if we relate that to IBIS, for instance, if you're with a lot of people who are speaking positively about IBIS, your view is likely going to become more extreme.
Even more positive.
Yeah.
And keep going that direction.
Exactly. And then same with pivot, is that you might become more extremely down on pivot, which seems really important these days.
Yeah.
Or seems very relevant.
Yeah. Mountain bikes,
Yeah. That's the important issue we're referring to here. Yeah. So IBIS versus pivot. We're looking for a lot of crowdsource information on where people lie there.
Yeah. Or another example is if I bought an IBIS, I would, this is another thing that can happen, is I would then go online to seek information that confirms my ideas about IBIS. So if I bought one, let's say I had buyer's remorse and it led to a little bit of dissonance or discomfort cognitively about, wow, that was a lot of money to spend on a bike. And I went online and my algorithm gave me things that were positively speaking about IBIS, or I searched out information for that. Then I resolve my dissonance by looking for things that confirm what I thought about it, rather than just opening it up to all information that's available at IBIS.
Gotcha. So in that way, would you seek out positive reviews to feel better about it? Yeah. And then you would discount the negative reviews.
I wouldn't seek them out. And with the way things function, really algorithms become an externalized process for this. So sometimes I fall into a cognitive bias, and then I can use this external mechanism that will just take that and accelerate it or exacerbate it. And I don't even have to do it. My brain doesn't even have to do that mental shortcut. I have technology that's just actively doing that for me.
So it's getting you to that place really quickly.
Yeah.
It's taking the work out of it.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So that's confirmation bias in everyday life, or at least an example.
Yeah.
Mountain bikes.
So this can happen with desirability as well. So let's say that I look in the mirror one morning, I'm like, man, my hair's kind of getting thin. Coincidentally that day, let's say that I come across an ad that says, rub peanut butter in your hair, it'll make your hair thicker and fuller. Okay. I will be more inclined to believe that because of my desire for that to be resolved. And so I'll take that information in more likely than I would have otherwise because my desire is for that to be true.
Yeah, gotcha. So because you see your hair thinning that morning and then you're hit with an ad about this thing that will help it, rubbing peanut butter on your scalp, you're more likely to think hey, this might be the thing.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. I think we should do an interactive challenge.
Ooh, so we got IIs, we got IPs, now we got an IC?
Yeah.
Yo, okay.
The interactive challenge. This will be for others, not us.
Okay, hallelujah. Not a lot going on upstairs today.
So can you put this on the socials?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I want people to think about a decision they made.
Okay.
And whether confirmation bias or desirability bias has shown up in a recent decision.
Okay. Yeah. So confirmation bias, you saw what you expected to see.
Yeah.
Desirability bias, you saw what you wanted to see.
You believe what you're desiring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We could put that on the socials.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are strategies to combat these?
Man, I always think of, for confirmation bias, we talk a lot about seeking opposing perspectives with intention. So it would be let me hear the full story.
Or if I have a viewpoint, search out information that's contrary to that viewpoint.
Yeah, exactly. Just even asking something what would prove me wrong here? Adam Grant does this thing where he says help me understand how to think differently about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah. So that would be one way. Maybe an example thing, on the socials, that sort of thing would be to follow an account that maybe holds an opposing view to yours.
Yeah.
Or seeking out, again, information that would be different than your own natural stance.
Okay. And what about combating desirability bias?
Ooh, separating the wants from the facts during decision making. So it would be becoming aware of what it is that you want to see, right?
Yeah.
And then also coming up with what would the facts say.
Yeah.
Pros and cons could be really helpful.
Yeah, listing out what are the ups and the downs.
Yeah. Listing those out could be really helpful. And then inviting unbiased opinions from trusted sources.
Okay.
Yeah. This is kind of the Enneagram 5 in my mind. This is like really, like eliminating bias in a sense and just looking objectively. What's the data? What do the facts say here?
Yeah. Okay.
Make your decision on that.
What about, could we do an
We got II, we got IP, we got IC, we got an I.
Hey,
let's go. Interactive activity.
Yeah. Could we do an interactive activity?
Oh, was that nice? Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's hear about it.
So, let's put this on the socials as well. You good for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of social media, man. We got a lot of eyes happening here, a lot of interactions.
Yeah, a lot of interaction in the virtual realm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I want to suggest that people have a conversation with someone you usually disagree with, or reading an article that challenges your views or is different than your views. Ooh. And then describe what that process is like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time.
Okay.
There's this thing of like kind of see how it feels, huh?
Yeah.
See what it's like.
And maybe share it with the hashtag bias.
See how it feels.
Bias. See how it feels. Hashtag see how it feels.
See how it feels. Feels right. Yeah.
Okay.
So hashtag bias challenge, is that what you're saying?
See how it feels. Let's do hashtag see how it feels.
Okay. Hashtag see how it feels.
Okay.
That sounds like a good time, man.
All right. So can we just do a quick summary?
Yeah. Key takeaways, some KTs.
Yeah. Confirmation bias is about finding evidence that supports our beliefs.
Blammo.
Desirability bias is about wanting something to be true regardless of facts.
Yeah.
Both biases can lead to flawed decisions. Mm-hmm. And awareness and intentionality in inviting other perspectives can combat that.
Okay. I think so, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you take us out by shouting us out?
No doubt. You can always find us on the interweb, www.beyondflag.com, flag spelled
FLG.
Same with IG. We're on that social medias where we'll be doing all these all these interactivities.
Yeah, interactive socials.
Yeah, ISs. We're out there, so you can find us at beyond_flag. And check out our podcast channel, Beyond the Pines, one of our many shows. We have Beyond Flag, creating familiarity in Flagstaff. We got this one, Quick and Nerdy, covering quick topics related to mental health and well-being. We got the build-up with Julia Hanlon and Molly Seidel. We got Crossing the Chasm with
the Brian Peterson.
And check out the new show, Land Defenders, featuring Matea Getz, the Sierra Club Grand Canyon chapter.
Yeah. And so we'll actually play a little promo here that gives you a little taste of what that show is like.
In the meantime,
take care.
Lovies.
It's Mateo of the Sierra Club Grand Canyon chapter, aka the Arizona chapter, and welcome to our podcast, Land Defenders. This podcast is dedicated to the voices, stories, and wisdom rooted in the lands of the greater Grand Canyon region. In each episode, we challenge the forces threatening this living ecosystem and elevate the stories of those defending its future. You'll hear from activists and elders to water protectors and land defenders, and hopefully not too much of me. We're here to share the truth, confront injustice, and explore the deep-rooted connections that tie culture to conservation in this region.
Look to the southwest and you see Novatokuyowe, you see this mountain, and you recognize how magical this place is.
Been devastated by excessive nutrients and has disrupted the entire ecosystem, and as a result, they've lost diversity.
I was expecting a human response from something that wasn't human, and that was my mistake. A corporation is not a human being.
To stay up to date on episodes, follow @ProtectGrandCanyon on Instagram. Join us as we move beyond the rim and into the heart of the work to protect this region.